The duffel bag was still by my desk, half zipped, tags from last year's trip dangling like forgotten promises. I hadn't touched it since Oregon. Sometimes I'd nudge it with my shoe while reaching for the power strip, like it was just clutter. But it wasn't just that. It was a marker, a line I hadn't crossed since for good reason. This year, when they sent out the invite for the team off-site, I said no, and they laughed, like it was a joke, like I was being that guy again. We're a small marketing agency, 16 people now, maybe 17 if they finally hire another designer. We're not a startup, but we act like one. Free cold brew, Slack emoji wars, Wednesday walks to the poke place, the usual. I joined 4 years ago, long enough to know whose kid is in travel soccer and who secretly smokes in the alley behind the parking garage. Every fall, our creative director Jesse picks a spot to vibe and align. That's what he calls it, vibe and align. Like we're a band instead of a bunch of people who make campaign decks and argue over fonts. Last year was the Oregon coast. This year, a reconnection retreat at some glamping resort outside Flagstaff. The invite was a Canva masterpiece, sunset mountains, hammocks, intentional circles. Jesse even added a little quote in the corner, "We go far alone, but farther together." I stared at it longer than I meant to. Slack lit up with emojis and GIFs. Fireworks, tents, someone dropping a "let's go." People started calling dibs on the bunk cabins. Someone made a playlist. I hovered over the RSVP button. Didn't click. Instead, I DM'd HR and said, "Hey, I won't be attending the retreat this year." Hope that's okay. A minute later, Monica replied with a smiley face and "Totally your call." "We'll miss your vibe, though. It should have ended there." But it didn't. The teasing started small. "Better be a damn good excuse, man," Ben said over coffee. "You know Jesse's going to make us sit in a talking circle, right?" "You're dodging bullets." I forced a smile. "Just need the weekend." He raised a brow. "Hot date?" I shook my head. "Just nah. Nothing like that." In the hallway, I overheard one of the junior copywriters whisper, laughing to another, "Maybe he's just scared of group hugs." At the Friday stand-up, Jesse clapped his hands and said, all right, retreat RSVPs are in, except for one rebel in our midst." He looked straight at me. "Hex, come on, man, gonna miss you snoring in the bunkhouse." Laughter, not cruel, just dismissive. I played along, gave a little shrug. "Can't top last year's snoring contest." "Gotta retire undefeated." More laughs, but inside my hands were already clenching. Here's what I didn't say. Last year, on the Oregon trip, I had a panic attack. Not a cute one. Not the kind you laugh off or breathe through quietly in the corner. It was the second night. We'd done our bonfire honesty round, where everyone shared a regret or a secret or something they were proud of. Jesse called it Open Vessel Night. I already hated that name. People cried, people hugged, people trauma dumped. I stayed quiet until it came to me, and then I made up something lame about not finishing a screenplay in college. Nobody cared. Later, back in the shared cabin, the others went to sleep. I went outside to get some air. It was stupidly dark. The ocean was a sound more than a view, waves crashing invisible on the rocks. I couldn't see 10 feet in front of me, and that's when it hit. My chest clamped down like a vice, my hands went numb, my vision tunneled. And the thing is, I knew what it was. It had happened before, twice. Once in college, once right after my divorce. But it had been years. I don't know if it was the performative vulnerability of that bonfire or the pressure of pretending I was fine. Or maybe it was just the ocean, how it sounded like the world folding in. I remember gripping the edge of a wooden bench until my knuckles hurt. I remember trying not to make a sound. I remember Ben walking out to pee and freezing when he saw me crouched there, shaking. "Dude, are you okay?" I tried to say yeah, but it came out a whisper. He didn't come closer, just stood there, a few feet away, like I was contagious. Then he mumbled, let me get Jesse." I begged him not to, but he was already gone. A few minutes later, Jessie came out with a water bottle and that look therapists have in movies. Too much eye contact, too much nodding. "You don't have to be okay right now," he said, sitting way too close. "Please don't make this a thing," I whispered. He promised he wouldn't. The next day at breakfast, I knew it was a thing. People were watching me differently, softer, weirder, like I was fragile, like I might crumble mid-bagel. And Jessie kept checking in, loudly. "Hey, Hex, slept okay? Breathing better today?" By lunch, it had turned into awkward kindness. Someone offered me a ride to the nature walk, just in case. Someone else brought me tea to ground my nervous system. I wanted to scream, not because they were cruel, but because they were performing concern for each other, not for me. And the worst part, on the last day, I caught one of the newer interns whispering to someone else by the van. "I think he, broke down or something." At the cliffs? I wasn't there. She wasn't, but the word breakdown stuck like syrup in my ear. So yeah, I didn't want to go this year. Back at the office, the teasing turned to passive pressure. "Still not coming?" Ben asked again. "Nope." Jessie stopped by my desk the day before the trip, pulled up a chair like he was about to deliver a performance review. "You sure, man? No pressure, but we'd love to have you. You're part of the DNA, you know?" "I'm good." He nodded slowly. "Totally respect that. Just hope it's not about last year. Nobody remembers that stuff." I stared at him. "Seriously," he added, "people were just worried about you." It was humanizing, honestly. Vulnerability is a strength. I almost laughed. Instead, I said, "Appreciate it, Jessie." He clapped my shoulder like a coach and walked away. They left Friday morning. Slack got quiet. The office turned into a ghost town. I stayed late, did admin cleanup, deleted old campaigns. It felt calm. Until around 9:30, when my phone buzzed, a DM from Monica. "Hey, hope your weekend's going okay." Weird question. Did you see Ben's jacket? He thinks he left it near your desk before the bus. I hadn't. I told her that. Then, 5 minutes later, another ping. From Jessie. "Random, but are you around tomorrow?" Totally cool if not. Could use your eyes on a pitch deck. I stared at the message for a long time. Did they forget they were supposed to be off the grid? Or were they checking on me? I turned off Slack. I still haven't touched that duffel bag. I think part of me left it there as proof. That I could go if I wanted. That I wasn't broken. But the truth? I didn't say no because I couldn't handle another panic attack. I said no because I didn't want to pretend it was some team-building utopia when it wasn't. Because last year, when I finally cracked, they didn't see me. They saw an opportunity to show how supportive they were. And that's not the same thing. The office was quieter than usual on Monday. When people came back from the Flagstaff trip, they were sunburned, high on group selfies, full of inside jokes I wasn't part of. You could practically smell the campfire vibes on them. Literally, someone's jacket still reeked of wood smoke, slung over a chair near the kitchenette. I was already at my desk when they trickled in, earbuds in, pretending to deep focus on a deck that had been finished 2 days ago. But I was listening. "Dude, I'm still sore from that hike," Ben groaned, dropping into his chair. "That hike was your idea," Monica shot back. "I said short loop, not Jessie's death march." Jessie himself walked in a few minutes later, balancing 3 coffees in a cardboard tray like a sitcom character. "Re-entry, people! Let's hydrate before we dissociate." Laughter followed. Someone slapped the back of my chair. "Missed you out there, Hex?" I gave a small nod, kept my eyes on the screen. "Hey," Jessie said, nudging a coffee toward me. "Black. No sugar, right?" I glanced at it, then at him. "Thanks," I said, though I hadn't asked. He smiled like it meant something, like the coffee made things okay. They gave me space that first day. Too much space, maybe. No one asked why I didn't come, not directly, but the glances kept landing like raindrops, quick, cold, forgettable in isolation, but constant. By Wednesday, the novelty of post-retreat glow was wearing off. Deadlines returned, Slack pings multiplied, And then came the calendar invite. Thursday, 3:30 p.m. Quick sync, post-retreat creative direction touchpoint. Optional, it said. But when Jessie sends you an optional meeting, it's like your mum asking if you want to help with the groceries. It's not a choice. I clicked yes. Thursday afternoon, conference room B. The couch cushions were still misaligned from whoever last napped there. Sunlight came in slats through the half-bent blinds. Jessie was already inside, laptop open, AirPods in. He motioned for me to sit. "Hey, man. Appreciate you making the time. No worries." He finished his voice note or whatever it was, then leaned back like he was settling into a podcast. "So, couple things. First, creative direction for Q4. You'll see some shifts in the deck, nothing major. But also..." He paused, tilted his head. "I just wanted to check in." Like, really check in. There it was. I could have played along. Said, all good, maybe tossed in a self-deprecating joke about being allergic to team bonding. Let him feel like the wise mentor who'd cracked my shell. But I was tired, so I said nothing. Jessie tried again. "I know last year got intense, and I get that it left a mark, but I just want you to know we're not here to pathologize anyone, okay? We care. I care." I looked at the table. One of the laminate corners had chipped off, exposed wood underneath, ragged and pale. "You remember what I said that night?" I asked. He blinked. "By the cliffs?" "Yeah." "You said not to make it a thing." "And?" He shifted. "I said I wouldn't." I nodded. "And then the next day, you announced at breakfast how everyone should check in on each other. You handed me a turmeric tea like I was made of glass." Jessie sat up straighter. "I was just trying to help." "I know. But it wasn't about me anymore. It became about you, about the team, about how well you all handled it." His jaw tightened a fraction. "That's not fair," he said quietly. "It's not supposed to be." He exhaled through his nose. "Okay, I hear you, really. A beat. I just thought maybe this year would feel different. You thought I'd give you a redemption arc." That one landed hard. He didn't answer right away. I stood up. "Look, Jessie, I'm not mad. I just didn't want to be part of a play where everyone gets to perform empathy and call it healing. That's not what it was. Maybe not for you." I left before I could say more. Friday came and went, then Monday again. The bag by my desk hadn't moved, neither had the coffee Jessie gave me, still full, now cold. No mold yet, but it was coming. At lunch, Monica pulled me aside. "Can I ask something personal?" I hesitated. "Depends." She hesitated too, which was rare for her. "You don't have to answer." I've been wondering why you didn't come. I thought maybe it was something more than just skipping campfire kumbaya." "It was." She waited. I didn't elaborate. She nodded. "Okay, well, I'm glad you stayed. The group thing? It wasn't the same without someone calling bullshit." I almost smiled. That night, I went home and unpacked the duffel bag for the first time in a year. Old socks, sunscreen, a folded-up itinerary, a rock I'd pocketed from the Oregon cliff path, dark and smooth. I don't even remember why. At the bottom was a small notebook. I'd forgotten about it. We were all supposed to write intentions in it on the last night. Mine was blank except for one page halfway through. A single line, "I am not your teachable moment." I closed the notebook and set it on the windowsill. The bag went into the closet. Not because I planned to use it again, but because I was done letting it sit there like proof. The next team trip came up 3 months later. Not a retreat this time, just a quick overnighter in Santa Barbara for a client summit. Half work, half play. Jessie called it a relationship refresh. Some execs from the client side would be there. Branding syncs, co-ideation lunches, that kind of thing. The invite came in a group email with 4 exclamation marks and a joke about team spirit being non-optional. I didn't respond right away. Ben swung by my desk 2 days later with that same half grin he always wore when he thought he was being subtle. "So, Santa Barbara?" I looked up from my keyboard. What about it? You in? Not sure yet. He nodded like that answer meant something. Be good for you. Low pressure, just a hotel and some deck building with sangria. I'll think about it. He started to walk away, then doubled back. Hey, just saying, people missed you in Flagstaff. I didn't say anything. He left it there. The truth is, I did think about going, not out of guilt, not out of pressure, but because, weirdly, it started to feel like not going was its own kind of performance. Like every absence turned into an invisible monologue about trauma or protest or whatever they thought I was trying to prove. I didn't want to be a symbol. I just wanted to be allowed to choose. That was it. Monica caught me by the elevators the day before the RSVP deadline. Hey, she said, we still doing lunch Friday? I nodded. Yeah, Thai place. You know it. She hesitated, then added, if you do end up coming to Santa Barbara, I'm rooming solo. Happy to share if you want to avoid the bunk bed circus. Appreciate it. I waited. She gave me a look, curious but not pushing. Honestly, she said, I don't care if you go or don't. Just don't let them turn it into a narrative either way. They love a good arc. I laughed. That was the moment I decided. Not because she said it, but because I believed it. I wasn't running anymore, but I wasn't performing either. I went back to my desk, opened the RSVP form, clicked attending. The van ride down was exactly what you'd expect. Road trip playlists, snack sharing, dumb jokes about PowerPoint addiction. Ben offered me the front seat. Jessie said nothing, just smiled from the back, already in networking mode. When we arrived at the hotel, I headed straight for check-in. Monica gave me the keycard to our shared room. Don't worry, she said. I don't snore. Much. Later, during the welcome mixer, Jessie tapped a wineglass with a fork and cleared his throat. Real quick, before we dive into the sangria, just want to shout out the team. Every single one of you makes this place more than a job, and… His eyes scanned the room, briefly landing on me. I'm especially grateful for the ones who show up, in whatever way they can. Applause, smiles, sips. I raised my glass but didn't smile back, let him wonder what I heard. That night, I stood on the hotel balcony and looked out at the ocean. It was different from Oregon, warmer, quieter, less menacing. Monica came out after brushing her teeth, hair tied back, face bare. You okay? I nodded, just breathing. She didn't ask more, just leaned on the railing beside me. The sound of the waves was steady even, not a threat, not a metaphor, just water meeting sand. The next morning, Jessie caught me outside the breakfast hall. He had that face again, earnest, full of possible sentences. Hey, he said, can I ask something? I nodded. Was it hard? Coming this time? Yes. He took that in. Are you glad you did? I thought about it. The hallway was starting to fill with voices. Someone dropped a spoon. A laugh echoed. I looked at him. I'm glad I got to choose. He nodded. That's fair. And, for once, he didn't try to turn it into a moment. Back at my desk the following week, I tucked the old notebook into a drawer, the one that still had that single sentence halfway through. I didn't need it on the windowsill anymore, and the duffel bag, I finally used it again. Not for a trip, for gym clothes. Boring, mundane, sweat and socks normal. And maybe that was the whole point. No speeches, no arcs, just me moving forward, not to prove anything, just because I could.